Thanks once again for joining us here on GHOne TV. Remember, we bring you nothing but the best. It's always your best experience watching GHOne TV and also Star FM 103.5 FM. Today we are speaking to the Honorable Minister for Sports and Recreation, Honorable Kofi Iddie Adams, also Member of Parliament for Boone constituency. Honorable, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you for the opportunity once again.
Thank you also for opening your doors to us.
Well, when you're doing good and great things, you would always have doors opened to you. And so GH1 and Star FM, you're doing great for a lot of things, especially that affects my ministry, and I'm so happy about that. And so you would always get our doors opened for you.
All right. So before we get to the very main thing about talking about the least financed sports in the country, first we have just about 2 days to play the World Cup qualifiers against Chad, and also 3 days time you are playing Madagascar. Tell us, I know the ministry is fully prepared, but how has government and the ministry itself been able to stand with the GFA to make sure that the Black Stars of Ghana are able to qualify for the country to the World Cup?
Well, first and foremost, let me say a big thank you to His Excellency the President. He has particularly been interested in sports and sports development generally, and on the issues of the Black Stars. He said, despite the very challenging situation that we find ourselves in, you remember how we have to scale down the Independence Day celebration in order to save some money to use it for many other areas. He found it necessary that let's make sure that the team has everything that it needs to be able to play well and to win for the country. So we have to invest so much in putting the Accra Sports Stadium in shape, the pitch, the lighting system, the sanitary system, the dressing rooms for the teams, of course, both the home and away team, in this case the Black Stars and the Chadian team. We have to put all those things in order, just to make sure that the playing condition, the environment that the Stars have to operate, and of course also the visiting side would be good. So we've done all that. The FA, even before I was nominated and went through the confirmation processes and got appointed, have done some appointments of the technical team for the Black Stars, and that also saw some injection of some new persons. Of course, the management team had changed now under the chairmanship of Dr. Randy Abe. The injection of Stephen Appiah and co, who was a very respected footballer and a respected captain of the Black Stars. You would hear many of his colleagues and players testify that those times he was captain, if there was any misunderstanding and he appeared there, it's like they respected him that much. So that's the kind of respect that he brings to the management committee of the Black Stars. Of course, the technical side, Schaefer has been added, plus a few other persons, the team psychologists, and then the video analysts and what have you, have all been added to make sure that the team is well prepared to face any opposition. So we continue to assist. The technical team has been owed salaries for quite a long time, and we are working to make sure that all these matters are settled. So we have assured the technical team of working to pay these arrears, and also to become current in terms of the current payments. So we put in everything in place to make sure that the team is in good shape and in good spirit to win for Ghana. And so I must say that we've done what we have to do. I have personally, together with my chief director and the newly appointed Director General of NSA, shown a lot of interest in what goes on at the stadium through regular visitation to see to it that the work that is being reported to have been done is truly done or is being done. And so that's how far we have the interest that we have shown. So I must say that camp is good. The players themselves are very highly motivated because they also want to be at the highest stage of their chosen career, which is football. Every player would wish to be at the World Cup, at least in the lifetime of him playing. So the boys themselves are motivated.
Qualify for the World Cup?
Sure it will. And the coach himself has told me, well, lessons have been learned, and I just pray that we're going to see a completely different Otoado on Friday. So we're all waiting to see a different Otoado on Friday and on Monday. He's giving me that assurance. And like I'm saying, the other departments that help strengthen the coach's decision-making process is also a good thing. So if you have Desmond, you have Schaefer, and then you have others that have been added, they help. Whatever they bring on board will help the coach to make a decision, because his decision will not now be based on he alone anticipating, but there's some data that other persons are collecting which helps him in arriving at a decision, both before play, during play, and maybe after the first half of the game. So that's what I'm saying. Let's watch and see the new Otoado that he said I should look out for. I'm going to look out for that, and at the end of the day, it should result in a win, and not just a win, but a good win that will put us in a good position. Because, you know, we have the same points with Comoros currently, but they are on top because they have scored more goals. So it means that goals are important here also. So even when you are winning, win with good goals. When you have opponents that you should win more. So we want to have goal harvest, not just a win, but we must harvest goals so as to position us well. So in future, if we are going to have same points with anybody, we will have goal advantage.
Speaking about Otoado, he has promised you that we will see a new Otoado. But do you believe in Coach Otoado to take Ghana to the World Cup?
Do I believe? Well, like I've always said, time will tell. I had raised some concerns earlier. I have spoken to those concerns. The FA met me with him and Winfred Schaefer and contributed significantly to our performance in the early part of 2000 all the way through to our qualifications for that 2006 World Cup, and then his participation, and that they thought he's been a great player, and they want to see that great player in him in the coaching. And for Ghanaians, it is winning to at least take us to the World Cup that will give them that comfort that, well, he was a good player and a good coach, especially coming after our inability to qualify for AFCON. That when 24 African countries converge in Morocco, Ghana, of all, would not be part. That is unpardonable, but we are willing and prepared to forgive if we make it good to the World Cup, and not just make it to the World Cup, but go very far, possibly even further than we have ever done as a country. That's all of us, our prayer, our wish, and what we are working towards. Is it Otoado that will take us there? Together we will analyze that, and matches ahead of us is what will tell. Like I said, he's told me the lessons have been learned. Other departments have been improved, and we're going to see the Otoado that we have yearned for. So let us get out there and let's see what will happen. For me, I like stability of team and technical team for that matter. You don't benefit from two regular changes of coaches, especially when you don't have a standing team. You see, we don't have a Black Star team as a Black Star team to know, like we used to have in the past, where when we say Black Star, you already know those that will be called the squad. We don't have that now. And so that is why when you are so close to a qualifier, changing a coach was not the way to go. And that was part of the reason why leadership thought that, well, let's all work together and see what comes out on Friday and Monday. Then thereafter, we know that we will not be at the AFCON. No amount of reasons that we advance will make sense to anybody. But this does not mean that we have ceased to exist as a country. We are still Ghana. And our football is still very respected there. We have good and great players out there performing wonders in their clubs in Europe, in America, and other parts of the world. And so, once we have raised the team, we shouldn't take the love away from the team. We need to give the team that support and the love. So, no matter how unhappy one is, the support is still needed. The support is needed yesterday, we need it today, and we will need it tomorrow, and we must offer it, because that is part of the spirit of building the team. The playing boys need it. They need to have that atmosphere that they know they are loved. It helps them perform better. Sometimes I agree that criticism helps people to also perform. If care is not taken and it's overdone, it tends to create a psychological situation, a negative psychological situation for some people. And that is why we should know when to pull the brakes on the continuous complaint of what we have lost, but to look at what is ahead of us and see what we can pick out of what is ahead of us. And the players themselves, I've been telling them, yesterday I had opportunity to engage some, I've engaged others via phone and other medium since becoming the minister. And I've always told them one thing: whilst I don't want them to erase our failure to qualify for the AFCON from their head, I don't want that to weigh them down. It should rather motivate them to play better and harder to qualify for the World Cup. That I don't want them to forget, because maybe if they forget, whatever caused it could happen again without us seeing it. But they must not let it weigh them down. They should rather use it as a basis to go for something bigger, and that is give their nation the World Cup, which is bigger than AFCON. And every other concerns that have been raised will be forgotten by Ghanaians. I know my people, once you give them something better than AFCON, surely they will join again. But together, we should be able to go through the process. I'm happy. Yesterday, spirit in camp was high. Today, they are continuing. I'm sure I would go there again to go and see how it is, and we pray for the best.
Right. So let's shift focus from the Black Stars. Let's now come to other sports as well. We see you have much interest in all the, I don't want to say lesser known sports, least finance sports. You were there at the arm wrestling battle for independence.
GHOne and its related media outlets and businesses are doing for the least finance sports. And because what it does is that it opens up the opportunity for a lot more persons. Talents are bound in many areas, but the only way the talent can come up is when it's given the opportunity to thrive, and that is exactly what GHOne, in collaborating with others, have done. So you have created the awareness, you've created a platform for people to get to know that even there is a particular sport like this, and this is how it is done. And I must congratulate you for that. Everybody who puts in something towards sports or sponsors also has some desired outcome. Aside also working to see that sport grow or that activity grow, they also will want their business to also grow, because you cannot help the growth of something and through that it suppresses you also. Because, for example, moving your OB vans and all those things to broadcast live activity is not a small cost to you. So if you are going to be spending all these monies to do this, how is the state, the enabler, going to help you also in order to be able to improve your performances, your business performance? So we will look into, together with your management, to see areas that we can also help in terms of, even if it is taxes that can be looked at, that for these packages that you are giving sports, we're giving you back this, so that it can motivate you to do even more. The other businesses, already all these things are in our laws. That when you sponsor sports or you support sporting activities, you benefit from some tax reliefs and what have you, or tax credits and so on and so forth. So it already exists in law. It's not like we are now going to create something. We would only look to implementing it to benefit all those who have come on board to support the least financed sports and open up the space and create that opportunity for many more young persons. Because the belief of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, our president, is that no talent should be left untapped. Every talent that exists, we may reduce drastically the number of young persons who go digging our forest looking for gold, who go digging and destroying our water bodies that in the name of looking for gold, because many of them would have found other things to do. The arm wrestling that GHOne, the independence, the battle for independence that you sponsored as co-sponsors or partners. There was one young guy who was there to perform. I'm told that he won 2 silver at the All African Games Accra 2023, and what he got as the prize money, he added it and has been able to purchase a vehicle that he's using now as Uber. He didn't go to dig any ground. He didn't destroy any forest. He didn't destroy any
international platforms as well. Because when you take just the July-August Olympics, for instance, boxing was a disaster. It's never happened. We've always been there until this time around. There were hitches. Some complaining per diems were not given to them. A lot of things, their camping days, a lot of things happened. I don't know how your government or our present government, together with the ministry, is going to communicate better with federations to make sure that all athletes in all the disciplines will be able to get exactly what they need to perform better for the country.
Governance structure is very key to the growth of every sport. So the Director General would have to work on that. Then we would want to look at a regular stream of funding. So today, for example, I've had engagement with the Director General of National Lotteries, all geared towards mobilization of what? resources and funding for the least financed sports, because money don't go in there. So for the money to go in there, you must raise the money. And I am of the opinion that you can fund training programs and other competitions and other league competitions that will prepare athletes for the higher level competitions. But when you don't have funding to organize local leagues and local competition for these athletes so that they can regularly be training because there's something ahead of them, and you just pick them for few months or weeks of training to go for a competition, either they will not qualify, or even if they do qualify, their performance will not be like those athletes who have trained regularly. Take athletics, for example. Those in schools, you have them go into a competition during the school period, and once the competition time is over, there's no training. They have to wait till the next competition again, then they pick up and do some training for 1 week or two. You cannot become an Olympic standard athlete with this kind of mentality and this kind of training. Your training must be regular, and the regularity of the training should not only start when you become a professional. You should carry it from the amateur stage all the way through. And that is how you build strength, that's how you build tenacity to be able to do what it is that others have done. Look, Jamaica, a very small country, what is their population? But they have taken over the sprints from a another great country like America, of their huge population, because they focused. They looked at the area of advantage and they trained. You don't wait when it is few months to the Olympics then before you start. No, you would not succeed. You would have to, it must be an all-time thing. It must be a lifelong something that you do. So Ghana, we need to also assess ourselves and know that if we want to create Olympic champions, then we must invest in their training. And such victories, look, what they do in terms of development is so huge. Today, like, who would want to go to those times if they mention Jamaica? What do you, but because of the Usain Bolts and the others, and then those who have won at that level, it begins to draw people just to go there. We want to go to that country where these athletes are. And so, but it took some investment. I'm happy that currently now we have our universities being interested in training persons in sports and sports-related areas of profession for them to get out there and help. University of Health and Allied Sciences, they are doing so well in the various sporting field. Same with University of Education, Winneba, University of Cape Coast, to handle various situations. And I believe that the more we have these professionals, the more it will help even at the grassroots level. Nutrition, they can advise appropriately as to what to eat and what not to eat, what and when to eat what, how to train and how not to train, what to wear and what not to wear, so as to be able to be a very well-formed athlete to compete for a longer time, and God willing, who knows, you can hit something. The young high jumper, the physically challenged high jumper in St. Augustine's College, who took part in the intercolleges and I think the superzonals recently, and he made 1.86 height jumped. That's a person that I believe if he gets the right training and consistently continue, he will improve and could easily pick and will win medals for our country. So we need to invest in training.
You seem to touch on infrastructure where I wanted to ask you. So you touched on Winneba. Disabilities was also my concern. You know, there were recent, last year, a whole lot of things when the national team also traveled, won the AFCON, came back, lots of problems. But what is in store for disabled athletes in the country? Because they are not being heard of because there's no support. We know they can't do things like how we can do doing other jobs and stuff, but some are doing it and some are also trying their best in the sporting fraternity. But how best are we going to support them?
The truth is that we have not been kind to our physically challenged persons. When I came to this ministry, one of the first things I observed was that the physically challenged athletes and administrators, if they are coming to this ministry, how do they manage? And so I quickly asked my chief director for us to look at the ways possible, whether we would have to create a means through which they can also come up here, or we'll have to create a facility that when we have to have engagement with them, at least for the meantime, till we have an appropriate, befitting office infrastructure, we create a conference facility down where we can engage them. Because I was told that sometimes they have to carry them on their back,
because their wheelchairs
which is not the best of. Their wheelchairs can't make it up here. We only have steps. And I said, that is not right. And so I'm looking for a sponsor. I've gotten someone who have designed something for us to have a conference facility, at least for now, down, whilst we also work on, I'm told there's space that you can country have been hijacked and we can't even find it. So luckily, the chief director and myself got some information and we are following up to make sure. So this is how bad we have treated them. And so truly we must have a change. We must change the way we do things. The reset agenda should affect every facet and every part of our sports, and it should include the physically challenged sports that have been accepted, that has been approved at all levels. We cannot say that we have Paralympics and just be by word, by talk, and we don't actualize it on the ground. We must actualize it on the ground. That's why for me, I personally showed interest in the young boy in St. Augustine's whose video became viral, and I became aware that he was there and the kind of height that he did, and maybe not a very professional training, but he's able to do that. I believe that when he's given the right training, he can do even better. So you are right. Our funding to the physically challenged must improve. It's the same way we haven't supported and funded women's sports and what have you. The same, we need to look at, I agree that it's not been the best of story when it comes to that area, but to be able to do so also will mean that we have to increase our fund, and we can only do so through your support. So I believe that you are asking this because you know that maybe through your platform, people will hear and will be willing to support. So once we put the sports fund in place, currently we need individual companies, corporates, and who want to support. Please reach out. Don't wait for us to reach out to you because we may not know exactly where you are. You too, reach out, can help grow and develop our sports.
Now let's touch a bit on women's football. What's your impressions so far? Do you think they've been given the best support? Do you think we've pushed them enough? And how do you think you can help to promote women's football in the country?
Well, from the days where we didn't want our children to play football, and you will be whipped if it is ever reported that once you were sent to go and fetch water, or when you close from school or to go and buy something, you went playing some football somewhere, you will surely be whipped.
And let me tell you, like they will tell your basket, you're the ball player there.
We need to still do, there's still a lot of room for improvement in terms of our support for women. I don't think that we give same attention that we give to say Black Queens or and I believe that the women have won us and has given out more smiles in the area of football, possibly than my fellow men have done. We have teared the hearts of people by not qualifying for AFCON, and an area that the women have consistently at least done better than the men. But we still need to improve a lot. So coach retention when they are good, and team retention and support, and some of them went out there and won, and we didn't even meet them to even welcome them the way we would have done if it were to be a male team that has done saying this is not good, this is not right. We have to do something. There's so much room, and I, as the Minister for Sports and Recreation, I'm going to lead the charge, and I know that the media will be out there to team up with us to do this. Let me commend our league, and could mention almost every player. Today, if you ask them to mention even one player in the Premier League, it becomes very difficult. It becomes, so that alone should tell you that there's something that have gone wrong. Then we have made it worse by introducing high-level hooliganism. I'm not saying hooliganism is a new thing, but it has become quite serious these days, and making the game look so bad. And this whole idea of also people thinking that it is ways and means that is winning the game and not the real play has also affected our local league. We need to be very professional. The FA has a huge task and huge responsibility to make sure all these perceptions are dealt with and erased from the minds of fans, and that is the only way that the love can come back. But we truly must improve our local league. We need to do a lot more. We need to invest more. Government has made a promise, and we are keeping it, to make sure that some allowances will be paid the players that are playing in the Premier League, and so when the income levels are a bit higher, you can keep and sustain players in the clubs for a longer time. So that this whole idea of either players leaving on their own or quickly being sold, it's more like our clubs have become a platform for selling players. So you identify a player, the player is trying to do well, then the next thing is, oh, let me sell him and get some money to use in running the club. So if you are not keeping good players, who will the fans go there to go and watch? Nobody will want to go and watch an unknown player. People would want to come to your stadium or go to your matches because they know there are 1 or 2, 3 players that they know who are good, and they want to go and watch them. But if all the time what you do is package them to sell them to this, nobody will want to follow you again. So there's a lot we have to do to improve our local league system, especially the Premier League.
The hooliganism you spoke about, a lot of has happened after Poli's death. Finally, in Sotrema 3 days ago, have decided to pull out of the Ghana Premier League. We spoke to them today. They are saying not to totally dissolve the team, because I was asking how their players are going to fare, and they mentioned that it's intact, but they've pulled out of Ghana Premier League.
Well, I don't know.
Have to say? I
don't know whether that's the best decision for them. If they had concerns, they could bring those concerns to the FA. If the FA is not able to, the ministry is here to also listen to them. Pulling out for me is not the way to go, because whatever the concerns are, yes, it was at their home game that Poli got murdered, I must say, and so in a way a lot of burden will be on them. And some of the stories that were told after the incident, some of which that officials of the club spoke to, that others counted, that FA rules just allow for that, because if they are withdrawing and the way they are, it could call for some sanctions. If those sanctions are applied, it means they may not even be participating for quite some time. Is that what they want? First and foremost, for the talent they have picked 2 for their area. Is that what they want from Swatremai community? No, I believe that they want them to continue to enjoy their football. It's an incident that have happened. Let that incident be treated the way it must be treated, and whilst the football also continue to play. So I would appeal to them to reconsider their decision and then participate in the league to its logical conclusion.
Right. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister for Sport and Recreation, Kofi Iddie Adams, also Member of Parliament for GHOne constituency. It's been a chit-chat with the Honorable, and we are grateful for opening your doors to us.
Thank you so much.
We say God bless you.
God bless you.
So we look forward to doing more things with you when it comes to arm wrestling and all the other sports as well.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for GHOne once again and the associated platform for what it is you are doing for the least finance sports. After all, it was these least finance sports that got us 41 medals at the All-African Games. Out of the 69 that we won as a country, 41 came from arm wrestling only and other least finance ones. Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. We come your way again.